Welcome back to the Tool Shed. So this is a tool that many people know. You might even know it. It's worth revisiting and thinking of it as, a quiver in our arrow in our quiver or a tool in the shed. And I use this one a lot in communication. It comes from improv. I've never done improv, and my kids tell me I shouldn't. I'm not funny, but one of the principles that I've learned from improv that works whether or not you want to be funny, but certainly be in an inspired conversation and to really move the energy forward and not shut it down is called yes and. Yes and comes from this idea of when you're in improv, the key to that is to keep the energy flowing. Because oftentimes, if somebody says something that you don't agree with in an improv setting or in a conversational setting, we'll find ourselves saying, yes, but. Now, yes, but invalidates what was being said, right? Yes, I agree with you, but it's a negative. It flips the script on it and really invalidates everything that came before it. And that from an energetic perspective, I'm not talking about like a debate perspective. I'm talking about connecting with other people and getting the best out of them, getting the best out of myself, moving these ideas forward and these relationships forward, because that's what this is about. It's about growth. Stuck energy is the beginning of the end. When I'm dealing with a couple who's got stuck energy, they've said yes, but, or just no over and over and over again. And it shuts down the conversation. It shuts down the energy. And we don't intend to do that. But that's what happens over time. So yes, but takes that improv moment and there's nothing really to say after that. There's nothing really to say when somebody starts getting into the buts and the no's and the shut you down. Yes, and takes what was being said and furthers it. You'll see this come up 1,000 times during your day when you could say, yes, I agree with you, but, right? Or you can say, yes, and have you thought about this? And my experience has also shown me that. Again, it acknowledges the person you're with, it validates their perspective, and it also opens it up to growth. This is not a semantics game. This is not even just a technique. This is a way to reorient yourself to the people around you or to your life to see possibility where otherwise you might have just seen a dead end, to see an opportunity where otherwise you might have walked on by that person, walked on by that situation. But when you get into this yes and thinking, you start bombarding stuck situations or stuck people with possibility and with this hopeful energy that you bring out the best of that situation, of that person, or of yourself. I see marriages or relationships turn around when couples start moving away from yes, but, even just linguistically, and starting to catch themselves and say, sorry, yes, and I also think it could be about this, or I also think you could try that. Yes, and is getting into, well, the Enneagram, because the Enneagram isn't about the numbers. It's about getting stuck in the numbers. You're not a number when you're responding, when you're conscious, when you're healthy. But when we're in fear, we all end up stuck. The Enneagram is shows us where we tend to get stuck. It doesn't show you who you are. It's just a roadmap out of there. And yes, and is saying, hey, look, I've been hanging out in my 8 spot and I can follow these pathways out of it. And I can think about this, that, and the other. I acknowledge the stuckness. I acknowledge the reaction or the fear that I've been living in. And I also take that, unstuck it, and get out into the world. And we can do that with, again, the Enneagram. We can do that in all aspects of our lives. We can do that in relationship with others. Yes, and use it in your conversations. Every time you say but, right, kick yourself in the butt, get out of that butt and get back into the and, yes, and keep the energy moving forward. The relationship's growing, moving towards hope and optimism. And it begins with yes, and.